Hello lovelies, and welcome back to another video. Today is Thursday, July 16th, and we are here aboard the Disney Wonder. It is such a beautiful ship, and this is the next part in my Chatty Get Ready With Me cruise series. I'm just so excited. This has been such a fun trip so far. We're only about halfway at this point, so we are just having such a great time here on the ship, and we're really excited to start pulling into some of our ports and getting to explore Alaska this week. And so I hope you've been enjoying the first couple of days and really getting to just dive into all of the experiences that we've been having here aboard the ship and in Vancouver before we left. And today I'm going to be talking all about yesterday, and that was Glacier Day. It was such a fun day. It was so amazing. I cannot wait to share some pictures and videos. I know the pictures don't do it justice, but even those were just absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking. It was so hard to even find one picture that was not just amazing. So I'm really excited just to share all of that with you. It was such a wonderful day yesterday, and I can't wait just to tell you all about it. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. Yesterday was just such a fun day, and we just had such a great time. We started out and we went to Cabanas for breakfast, and so far on the trip, the breakfasts that we had were in the main dining room, but we really wanted to go to Cabanas yesterday in particular because we had asked, we had seen online, or I had seen online before we came on the trip, that they have a really special treat here on the ship. And as far as I can tell, they're very exclusive, and you really can't find them outside of maybe a couple of restaurants, I think at some of the Disney resorts near the parks, and then on the cruise ship are the Mickey churro waffles. And so we really wanted to make our way over and try those. I did ask early on as we were having dinner in the one of the main dining rooms when they would have those and if they would have them, because we have heard so many good things about them and definitely wanted to try them out. And we were told that they were only in Cabanas on day 3, and then I think on the last sea day. So we only had a couple of chances to get them, and we really wanted to give them a try. And so we went over to Cabanas first thing yesterday and went ahead and grabbed our breakfast. And it is just such a good just kind of setup in there. There's a lot of different buffet counters that you can go in, and you can just select the different food that you want. They have a couple of bars in there where you can go up and request certain things. They had some like parfaits. They had some little balls of cream cheese. I actually went up and got some of those to go with my bagel that I had picked up. And then most of it is self-serve, so you can just go around and kind of grab what you want. They did have the churro waffles, so we were really excited for that. They had a pretty good selection of fruit. So they had a little fruit bar that was pretty delicious. And then, of course, they had bacon, eggs, they had oatmeal, toast, bagels. They had all kinds of different things, whatever you really wanted for breakfast. They had some cereals, things like that. So my dad, my husband, and I all went in there for breakfast yesterday and just got us a few plates. And then, of course, we also got the Mickey churro waffles while we were in there. That was the main reason that we went. We just had a really nice time. It was not terribly crowded. I sort of expected Cabanas to be pretty busy, but they do kind of have a time window that they're open for breakfast in the mornings. And so, we were able to just kind of go in when we wanted to. And so it's not just a mad rush of everybody in there at the same time. So it was busy, but it was not just crazy busy. And so we just sat together at a table and enjoyed our meal together, and it was really good. And then the churro waffles, they were not disappointing whatsoever. They were so good. I did hear online that you don't need to put any syrup or sugar or anything else on top of them. Of course, if you want to, you can, but they were very sweet on their own. They definitely tasted like churro batter, and they were absolutely delicious. They were nice and cinnamony and sugary and really delicious. So we did try those out, and we each had one of those, and they were just so good. So we really enjoyed our breakfast. It was very delicious. And then after breakfast, we went and met my mom, and we went to a Beauty and the Beast trivia that they were having in the French Quarter Lounge. And so we went over there and found some tables and seats. And my husband and I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of our favorite movies, and we really enjoy the cartoon version of it anyway, which I did not think about going into the trivia, that they would also ask some questions about the live action film too. So I'm not as familiar with that one, and so they asked a couple of kind of tricky questions from that movie, so that was a little bit unexpected. And some of them were multiple choice, and some of them were fill in the blanks or just kind of answer on your own. So some of them were definitely pretty challenging, and you really had to know a lot about Beauty and the Beast and a lot about the different characters and the different things that they reference in the live action film as well. And then of course there were a couple of questions that were not necessarily related to what happens in the movie, but more just about the actors or about just kind of the awards that the movie had won and things like that. And those are of course always some of the most challenging in a trivia. They definitely kind of throw you off and are definitely a lot harder. It's not more common knowledge. So we had fun doing that. It was very enjoyable just to hang out together and get to do a trivia. Of course, when you're on a Disney cruise and you love Disney, getting to do Disney trivias is really fun. It was definitely very challenging. We found that all of the trivias on the ship have been pretty challenging. We've done a few of them, and we have not yet won. And I'm not sure that we will. There's a lot of really big Disney buffs on this ship. And then they also have kind of a medallion collection on the ship. Every time we go to an activity that they have an award, they let everybody know that there are 8 different medallions based on the characters, and then I think there's one that is a cruise ship. And so if you want to try to win all 8 of them, then you can go to different activities where they have those available and play to win. And so I think we've seen a few kids walking around that have just sort of a ring of medallions around their necks. So that's fun, and definitely creates a lot of sense of competition and a lot of excitement for everybody just to kind of have that goal of reaching being able to earn all of those medallions. We have, like I said, not one, so we don't have any of those. And honestly, I kind of don't really need them, so it's definitely better for the kids and families to be able to get those anyway. We've just really enjoyed going and participating in the trivias and the game shows and the other activities that have been here on board. They've been a lot of fun. It's been really cute. And like I said, we love Disney, so getting to go and do all of the Disney activities has been a lot of fun. As my husband and I were getting ready for the trip and we were planning to come, we decided to have a big Disney movie marathon. And so for several weeks, if not maybe a month or two before the trip, we went on our Disney Plus and we put a whole bunch of Disney movies, not every single one, but most of the animated Disney film, and put them onto our watch later list. And then just throughout the weeks as we were leading up to the cruise, we would go in and just find time to watch the movies. And we ended up actually watching the movies all the way until the day of flying out to Vancouver. And so we were finishing up, and so we watched a lot of animated movies, and then the last one that we watched was The Devil Wears Prada, because we saw that the sequel was going to be playing probably on the ship, since it was more of a new release for our cruise and a new release in the movie theaters. And so we've seen that they are playing it. We haven't had a chance to make it to the movie theater yet on our trip, but that was definitely a lot of fun to get prepared for our trip, get to prepare for the sequel of Devil Wears Prada, and just have a big movie marathon as we were getting ready to come. But anyway, back to yesterday. After we went to the Beauty and the Beast trivia, we were then ready for Glacier Day. That is the big day. For us, it was day 3, and so we decided to go out for most of the day up onto decks 9 and 10, up near the top of the ship, where we could go out and just see as we were going into the fjord. We could just look out and see all of the mountains. We could see the glacier at the end. And then they also, of course, have all of the Disney characters coming out, all the main ones coming out in their Alaska gear. And so we were so excited to get to see them. It's very rare in their costuming to get to see all of that. And so we were just really looking forward to getting to go out and get to see them. There were a lot of people up there when we first went up. We went out and we were looking at just the lines and the crowds because the characters were starting to come out pretty soon after we got up there. And so the first thing that you do is just kind of hop into a really long line. And so the first character that we went to see, I believe we got in line, for Goofy, but by the time that we got into the line, they changed it, so it was going to be for Donald Duck. And so I think he was the first one that we went to see. So we got into that line and waited there for a while. It was definitely a very long line, and that wasn't moving very quickly, especially a lot of times you get into a line before the character even comes out, and so everybody just kind of stands and waits for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then that way you're a little bit further up in the line, but you do kind of have to wait for the character to actually come out. We went ahead and hopped into a line, and we just waited until Donald came out, and then went ahead and went through that line. And they did know that this was a very popular event. They knew that all of the characters are very coveted to get photos with, and so they did limit it to 2 photos per party. And so when you went up, you were only able to get a couple of photos with them. And so we definitely appreciated that, because there are times when you're waiting in a really long line, and a lot of families will take a lot of configurations of different family members together in their photos, and they can be up there for quite a while. And so of course you want to have your moment. You waited in line, you paid the money to be there, but also there is a really long line behind you too. And so we just appreciated that, since it was so busy yesterday on Glacier Day and they had so many different characters, that they did limit it to 2 photos per group. And so we just waited in that line, and we were able to get up and take the photos with Donald. And so that was a lot of fun. He was so cute in his little plaid outfit, and all the characters yesterday were dressed so cute. Of course, my favorite, I think, was Minnie Mouse. Her little parka that she wears is absolutely adorable. But they have just all their warm winter gear, and they're just so precious. So there's some just really special pictures, and we did see later in the day that all of the characters also came out for photos in the atrium and inside at some of the kind of hallway areas where they typically do character photos on the ship that we've been seeing throughout the week. But it was so much more special to be able to go and take photos with them during the glacier viewing, and as we were going into the fjord, and being able to actually get them in their outfits with that just beautiful Alaskan background. That was just such a special moment for us. And of course, as you are waiting in these really long line, you are up on the top deck as we are sailing into the fjord and going and seeing all of the mountains and glaciers. And so it is absolutely gorgeous. There are really no words to describe how just breathtaking that entire experience is. Really before, I was not sure exactly what was so exciting about glaciers, that they are just kind of big blocks of ice for the most part. But coming here and actually seeing it and experiencing it, it is absolutely magical. I really can't explain how beautiful it was. And so, like I said, as you're waiting in these really long lines to get up and see the characters, that entire time that you're standing in line, you're just standing on the deck getting to watch the view. And so that was really what we wanted to do yesterday anyway, was just experience as we were sailing through and getting to experience the nature out there. And then, of course, getting to do that while you're standing in line anyway for a character was just kind of a good bonus. It's a good use of your time. And so we just kind of waited in those lines, but we really just enjoyed taking just a million pictures and videos and really getting just to experience that entire opportunity that we had there. It was so stunning, so breathtaking, and I really, like I said, just don't have good words to describe. It was very different than anything else I've ever experienced. My family has traveled quite a bit. We've lived overseas and had a lot of experiences to go to different places, and I've been very blessed to be able to do that. But I will say that the mountains here are unlike anything I've ever seen. They are so just amazing. And as you are sailing through kind of this tunnel type thing where you're just going through in between these mountains, even in this huge cruise ship, the mountains are just enormous beside you. You're just looking up at them, and they were just so incredible, just so awe-inspiring. And it is just such a testament of just the beauty of our nature, the beauty of our world. And so we just really enjoy getting to go through and getting to look out and see the mountains and getting to see all of the trees that just amazingly are just growing up the sides of these really tall, steep mountains. It is just amazing to see. And then a lot of them have melting snow and melting ice coming down them, which is crazy going on an Alaskan cruise in July and seeing snow. It is the middle of summer, but it is snow on the mountains, and seeing all of that snow just gently melting and just going down in these little river streams and in these little waterfalls all the way down is just so incredible and just absolutely gorgeous. At the bottom of the mountains, you can see a lot of the kind of waterfalls just kind of going off into the ocean and just coming down, and it's just so beautiful and so stunning. And so we just really enjoy getting to see all the different views of the mountains and just getting to enjoy all of the scenery out there. We did start to get to see some whales. We could see some of them cresting and some of their tails coming up and going back down as they dove into the water. And so that was really cool. We also had a couple of opportunities from a very far distance to see some seals sitting on the ice out there. There were just chunks of ice in the water, and getting to see the seals just kind of perched on them was really cool and really fun. And so it was just such a magical experience getting to see kind of our first glimpse of the nature and just the environment here in Alaska. And so we really enjoyed getting to just look out and see all of that. And then, like I said, we were in line for characters, and then also at 11 o'clock yesterday, they had their Frozen show up on the deck. I can't remember. I think it was called For the First Time in Forever. And mostly that, it really reminded me I think it's in Hollywood Studios or one of the Disney parks. They have a Frozen show, and it was very similar to that. They have a couple of people that look like they're from Arendelle, and they come out and they tell the story. I think they're the Arendelle historians. They come out and tell the story of the movie, and they just share a little bit about Anna and Elsa and all the other characters. So it was very similar to that. They had some images up on the screen or video up on the screen from the movie, and then as they went through and they just retold the story. And then they had, of course, Anna and Elsa and Kristoff come out on the stage and kind of contribute to the story and tell their little parts of it. We didn't watch it super closely because we were definitely facing away from the show and looking out at the mountain, but just a little bit that we kind of saw while we were standing there, that's mostly what it was. I did grab a couple of little videos from it, and they, of course, at the finale have Elsa come out and she blows snow out at the audience, so that was really cute and really fun, just to kind of see her with her fake snow coming out in the middle of July in Alaska. So that was kind of magical and kind of fun. They definitely pump a lot of the snow out. It was big flurries out there, but that was cute. That was a cute kind of conclusion to the show and just kind of an addition to what they were doing. But after the show, it mostly was just about meeting up with the characters. And so we did just kind of go through and take pictures with them as they were all coming out at different times. So you would just kind of finish in one line and then go to the other side of the ship and hop into another. There was a point close to noon where we did kind of step away and we went over to Tiana's place for lunch. And so we went down there, and that was a pretty good lunch that we had in there. As we went in, we had a few different appetizers and soups and things that sounded really good. And so I definitely wanted to try a few different things in there. I did get one item that was kind of like a bruschetta that had some olives and peppers and some, I think, balsamic vinegar maybe on it. And it was really, really good. It was definitely like a bruschetta bread, but it was a little different. It didn't just have tomatoes and cheese. It had some other items on there. So I did really enjoy getting to try that out. We really just enjoyed all the other appetizers that we had. I did also get, it was, I believe, a portobello mushroom carpaccio, which was really just very thinly sliced portobello mushrooms that were in a little glaze, and they had some cheese with them, and it was really, really good. It was a really delicious appetizer. And then also with the appetizers, they had a tomato soup, and it was really good. It was nice and creamy and very, very flavorful. And then after the appetizers, we all got our meals, of course. My mom got a salmon that was really good. It was very well flavored. And then my husband and I got a couple of different dishes that we were going to share. I got the baked ziti and he got the chicken curry. And unfortunately, the baked ziti was not very good. I honestly didn't even finish it. It was, I didn't like the flavor, and I felt like it was kind of dry. So I was a little bit disappointed by that one. But like I said, my husband and I were sharing, and when you're on a cruise, you have a lot of food, and so we definitely didn't mind just kind of sharing the one dish and just kind of snacking on that together. But the curry was out of this world. It was so good, and so it was very flavorful and really just had a really good taste to it. So that's what my husband and my dad both ordered yesterday for lunch. And then for dessert, we got a few different things. They had little chocolate pastries that were kind of just like a little puffy pastry that had some kind of chocolate mousse in the middle of them. They almost look like, we kind of thought they looked like little hamburgers almost. So it was just kind of the top and the bottom bun with the pastry and then the chocolate in the middle, and those were really good. And then I got a cherry crepe that was really good. It had a nice warm cherry filling in it. My dad said he thought it kind of tasted like a really good cherry Pop-Tart, and it kind of did. It was just kind of that jelly-like filling that's in a Pop-Tart, and so that was delicious. And I also ordered the raspberry creme brulee. It was a no sugar added dessert, but I thought it was really good. It definitely was very sweet and flavorful, and it definitely had just kind of a little slight grittiness to it, but it was very, very sweet, and it tasted really good. We all tried a little bit of it and definitely really enjoyed that. And then my mom got a little, I think it was kind of a cake that had some chocolate and then some macadamia nuts in it. It was almost like a Reese's cup a little bit. It just kind of had that sort of that layer of chocolate on top, and then it had sort of that kind of nutty paste in it. It was a very thick cake, but it tasted pretty good, but it definitely just tasted kind of like macadamia nuts. So we really enjoyed the meal that we had and all the desserts and everything. It was a really, really delicious meal. And so we finished up with lunch, and then we went back up to the top deck to continue sightseeing as we were continuing through the fjord and as we were approaching the glacier, and then also to continue to get some pictures with the characters. And so just as we were going and continuing to get closer to the glacier, it was so beautiful. It was a little bit windy and a little bit chilly, but it wasn't icy cold. It wasn't terribly cold out there. So it was just a really nice area. It was just so beautiful. It was a beautiful day. There was no rain. It was a little bit cloudy. I do think I got just a little bit sunburned actually being out there all day, but not too bad. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. And so we did go back up and just continue to take some pictures of just the mountains and the waterfalls and the nature and everything out there. It was just so beautiful. There was no limit to how many photos you wanted to take out there. It all just was so, so beautiful. And then we continued to wait to get to see all the characters. So we did get to see, like I said, we saw Donald, and then we also got to see Daisy, and her little outfit was so cute. She had kind of a plaid sort of lumberjack dress on with a little kind of denim jean jacket. It was really, really cute. And then we also got to see Mickey. Oh, actually, I think Mickey may have been the first one we actually saw. I was trying to remember who it was, and I think it was actually Mickey we saw first. But he has his cute little fisherman outfit with the little yellow jacket and a little yellow hat and his little pants and everything. He's just so, so cute. We really enjoyed getting to see him. And then we also got to see Chip and Dale. They didn't really have any outfits on. They were just kind of just little chipmunks out there, but they were really cute and really fun to take photos with. And we really just enjoyed getting to kind of see some unique characters out there. We hadn't seen Chip and Dale so far on our cruise, so it was really fun to get to see them. And then my personal favorite, I think I mentioned earlier, was Minnie Mouse. Her little parka is so, so cute. It's got the little fur trim on it. It is such an adorable outfit. I absolutely love it. And she just looks so cute and so warm and so cozy. So we really enjoyed getting to see her. So it was really fun getting to just kind of see Mickey and the gang and just all the different characters in their Alaska outfits. And then we were gonna go see Goofy, but he did not come out for a little bit after when we were there. He was going to come back out around 4:30, and I think it was 3 or 3:30 by the time we had finished with the other character. And so we were all feeling a little bit chilly out there and wanted to go get some hot chocolate. And so we went down to deck 9 next to the pool, and there's a beverage station there. And so we all got some hot cocoa, and we've been enjoying getting some of the hot chocolate. It is made with water, and so they do also have a little milk dispenser there. And so we've been getting mostly hot chocolate and then topping it off with some milk and mixing that in just to kind of give it a little bit of creaminess, and that's been really good. We've gotten that a few times already on the trip, and I personally love hot chocolate, and so that has been a dream just to get unlimited free hot chocolate here on the ship. It's been so, so good, and we've just really been enjoying having that opportunity here, and definitely helps to kind of warm you up. And so we've just really been enjoying that, and we decided to get cups of hot cocoa for everybody to warm up after we've been outside in the wind and in the just kind of the cloudy area outside for so long. We were out there for hours, and definitely had a little bit of a chill to us. And so we did that, and then also while we were out there, we decided to grab a couple of snacks from Pete's Boiler Bites, which is one of the kind of poolside restaurants. And so we got a couple of plates of their chicken strips with fries, and then we grabbed a couple of hot dogs and just kind of split that among us. And those were so good. Those are definitely just something that every time I've gone on Disney cruises, we always love, especially the fries. They're so good. We always get some plates of those and share them. And then even just their other little snacks that they have out there are so good. And it's probably more food than we need. And I think by the time we all went to dinner a couple hours later, we weren't terribly hungry for dinner, but the snacks were really, really good. And so we enjoyed just kind of hanging out by the pool for a little bit, eating some snacks. And then pretty well after we did that, it was almost time for Goofy to come back out. And so we popped up to the top deck again and hopped in line for him. And I will say, once we kind of got to the point where the Glacier tour started, my family did not do those, but you could book an excursion to get off of the ship onto a smaller boat that would take you out to the glaciers, if that's something that you would be interested in. But we did notice there was a significant decrease in the lines once those excursions started. So I do think they were very popular, and I do think a lot of people got off the ship to go do that. So even though the lines for the characters' very first thing were pretty crazy, they were pretty much lining all the way down the ship. Once those excursions started, the lines got a lot shorter, and of course the characters come out multiple times throughout the day. So it's not just a one time Mickey comes out and then if you miss him, you don't get to see him. But once the excursion started, it was much easier to get to see him just because a lot of the people had gotten off the ship. And so, like I said, our last character that we went to see was Goofy, and so he was really cute. He had a little white kind of skiers outfit, and we just really liked his outfit, especially out there in front of the mountains. Was really cute. And then he had some little gloves on. They were just little fuzzy gloves. They were so cute. And I even told him when we were up there that I liked his gloves. I love fuzzy things. I love fuzzy jackets and socks and things like that. So I thought his little gloves were so cute. We really enjoyed getting to see all the characters yesterday, and like I said, getting to take photos with them in front of the mountains, in front of the glacier, was just so cool and so magical, and we just really enjoyed that experience. And I just don't think the pictures would have been the same taking them with the characters in the atrium. It was just not as cool of a backdrop, and so we were really grateful that we were able to go out and do that. We spent, like I said, pretty much most of our day, most of our glacier day out by the glacier and out by the mountains. So we definitely really enjoyed yesterday. I enjoyed it even more than I thought I might. I just was not totally sure going into it how exciting the glacier was going to be, but it really was. It was really cool, and it was a really good introduction to Alaska as we are starting to get into all of our ports, and we're really starting to kind of get going with the Alaska part of our trip. It was a really good introduction. We also were trying to take pictures with the glacier. As you get up to the glacier on the ship does turn and then comes back through the fjord and comes back out. And so it really did just kind of a 180 in that little kind of fjord area. And that big ship is able to turn all the way around. It's really cool. But while we were out there, we of course wanted to get some pictures with the glacier. And so we popped over and we're trying to get some really cool pictures with it. And we realized while we were standing there that there was a photo pass of the glacier behind you. And so we went over and we got some pictures with that and got some with my family as well. And so that was just really cool to have just that amazing backdrop and to get some professional photos with it. So we really enjoyed that entire experience. And then after that, we decided to go change and get ready for dinner. I did find a Frozen themed dress on sale at a Disney store not too long ago, and so I was really excited to get to wear that for the trip, and it was perfect. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be kind of overdressed for Frozen night, but there were a lot of people that were dressed up for Frozen night and had a lot of kind of funny costumes. We saw a lot of people with kind of footsie pajamas that looked like reindeer or things like Olaf. And so we even saw one family where the mom was dressed up like Elsa, and then I think one of the kids was dressed like Olaf. One of them was dressed, I think maybe like Sven, and then the dad had an Olaf t-shirt on. So they were very decked out for the Frozen theme, and so I definitely didn't feel out of place in the outfit that I was wearing. But it was really fun to get to dress up for that and get to participate in that. And so we got changed, and then my husband and I went down to the atrium, and they had some beautiful little backdrops and magic shots in there. And so we had one backdrop that kind of looked like the Frozen kind of forest. And so we were able to go and take a couple of pictures there. They had us do a magic shot where I held my hand out and they put a little character in my hand from the second Frozen movie. And so we really enjoyed getting to take those just kind of magic shots and those backdrop shots. And then we also did go take a photo in front of another backdrop that had sort of, it looked like the kind of deck of the ship. It had some railing, and then you could see some Alaska mountains behind you. So those were really cute. And then we also took some pictures out on the deck of the ship, and they have a little kind of life ring that's shaped like a life float ring that's shaped like Mickey. And every day they have a little image on the middle of it. And yesterday it was all about the fjord and about the glacier that we went to see. So that was really cool to get some pictures with that out with the mountains behind us. It was absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous. So we really enjoyed getting to do that also. And so we got some just really good pictures in our nice kind of Frozen formal wear. And then after that, we had a little bit of time left before dinner. And so we went over to the French Quarter Lounge and we were just going to kind of hang out in there and just grab a couple of seats. And by the time that we got in there, we realized that the main piano player from the ship, I believe his name is Tim, he was in there and he was playing some Disney tunes on his piano and had another little just kind of audio track with the music, and he was playing it. And they have a little dance floor in the French Quarter Lounge, and so I asked my husband if he would want to dance with me, and he said yes. And so we went over and we got on the dance floor and started dancing together, and it was so sweet. And we noticed when we went out there that a lot of people in there were like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And so that was just, it was a nice kind of sweet moment. And we really enjoyed dancing with each other to some really pretty, just kind of instrumental Disney music, some music that we both really love. And so we just had such a good time getting to dance together and just kind of enjoy that sort of sweet, magical moment. And we did grab just a little clip of him playing his piano and just kind of that moment there that we had. And so it was so much fun. It was just such a sweet and just kind of nice way just to kind of pass that time before dinner. And then for dinner last night, we were in Animator's Palette again. We had that on our second night and on our third night. And so we went over in there. And it was a very, very different feel and a very different vibe from the previous night. The first night when we went in, it was a very typical Animator's Palette experience. Everything was kind of the black and white and then changes into color. And we had Sorcerer Mickey in there. But last night, everything was much more icy and blue and set for Frozen Night. And then all of the screens around the room had different just little images and icons from Frozen. So it was really, really pretty in there. It definitely had just kind of an elegance and a class to it. And we weren't really sure what they were going to do or how they were going to do it. I personally was very curious, happening to be in Animator's Palette last night and it looking like that and them changing the screens. I was curious what they do in Triton's and in the Tiana's Place restaurant to make it look Frozen-y. So if you know, if you've been in either one of the other two restaurants on Frozen Night, definitely drop it down in the comments below and let me know, because I was very curious what they do to kind of make it special and make it more Frozen in the other two restaurants. But the servers all had really cool kind of Frozen outfits. A lot of the servers had blue vests on that had snowflakes, so it was just really cute and really magical, and we really enjoyed just kind of how they transformed the dining room while we were in there for the Frozen Night. And so we just really enjoyed getting to do that. And then our dinner, of course, was delicious. We really enjoyed the meal that we had. We have enjoyed all of the meals that we've had. For the appetizers that we got yesterday at dinner, we all ordered some pierogies and they were really good. They just kind of had potato and cheese in them, and then they had sort of a little kind of pile of caramelized onions that you could try with it, and then they had some sour cream and a little bit of caviar, not very much, but I had never had caviar before. I did end up trying it, and really they were so small and kind of with everything you couldn't even really taste them or kind of feel them. But I did try caviar for the first time ever yesterday, so that was kind of cool. We did really enjoy also, they had some soups that we got. They had a split green pea and ham soup. It was good. It was not my most favorite soup. It definitely tasted a lot like peas, and I like peas, but it was very heavy in the flavor. And then my mom got a little tart that they had. And it was pretty good. I definitely kind of would compare it to a quiche. It kind of had sort of a scrambled egg almostness to it, and then some different flavors in it as well. And so that was pretty good. And then for our main courses, we got a few different things. My mom got the roasted chicken. My dad got my dad and my husband both got a strip steak, and then I got the pork tenderloin. And then we also got a salmon for the table that we were all able to share. And my favorite thing was probably the strip steak, and it was very flavorful. It was very just kind of juicy and tender. It really had a good flavor to it. So we really enjoyed that. The pork tenderloin that I had was really good. It definitely had European flair to it, and I really enjoyed that it had some Spätzle with it, which is just kind of a traditional sort of German kind of noodle pasta, and it was really good. My family lived in Germany for several years, and so I remember getting Spätzle there, so anytime I'm able to get Spätzle with a meal, I'm always really excited. It's definitely something that I really enjoyed. And then at the end of our meal, we of course got some desserts. I got the Elsa's Coronation Sundae, which was just a mint chocolate chip ice cream, and then it had some sprinkles and some whipped cream on the top. And it was really good. It was really creamy and it was really refreshing. Like I said, we had eaten snacks about a couple hours before dinner, and so by the time that we got to the main dining room, we all were kind of regretting some choices that we had made, and we're not terribly hungry when we went to the dining room. And so just having kind of a very light dessert was really nice, and definitely kind of helped me feel a little better. And then my mom got, I didn't even see really on the menu what it was, but it was just kind of a little chocolate cake. And I don't even think she finished it. She said it was really thick and was just not very good. So that was a little disappointing. But we also did get the little butter cake, and that was really good. It had some strawberries and I think some blueberries with it, and then some whipped cream. And it was really good. It was a very just kind of light, just buttery cake. I did try a bite or two of that. And then they also had a little kind of apple cake. And my husband got one of those. He loves apple desserts. And so he really enjoyed having that with his meal. And so we just really enjoyed our experience in Animator's Palette last night. It was really nice, and the meal was really, really good. It was not quite as good as the meal we had in Animator's Palette the night before for formal night. That one was just an exceptional meal, and we all just really, really enjoyed it. But it was still really good food last night. And so after dinner, we went over and we had a little bit of time until the show was going to start. And so we went over to the D Lounge, and they were having a little game called Frozen Phrases. And so it kind of was a little bit like a taboo type game. They had some different categories, and so what you would do is they had two different teams go up and play. And so they chose a couple of people from two different parties, and they had one person stand at a microphone looking at the stage, and then they had the other person on the stage with a microphone sitting in a chair, and they were facing each other. And so up on the screen on the stage behind the people that were sitting there, it was behind them, they had different categories or different words and phrases that were related to Frozen, and then the person that was looking at the stage had to describe what it was, and then the other person had to guess what it was. And so it was cute. It was fun to just kind of watch them try to guess what the words were. And so my family just kind of watched and just enjoyed the game for a little bit before it was time to go to the show. And then for the show last night, they had a magician come out. He apparently was on America's Got Talent. It's been a little while since I watched that show, so I was not familiar with him, but his name was Zach Mears. And so he just came out and did a little magic show. And it was funny, during the show, he actually kind of came out in the audience and was picking a few different people to help him pick some numbers and colors and different card types. I can't think what word it is, but diamonds or clubs or spades, things like that. And so he had several different people from the audience pick something, and one of the people that he chose in the audience was Dylan, my husband. And so he got to pick a number for the card that he wanted Zach to choose. And so he chose the number 7, and as Zach was going back up to the stage, he said, "Okay, Dylan, you have the chance to be able to change your number." And Dylan said, "No, I'm not changing." And he said, "Okay, you've got time to change it." And Dylan never did. He stood his ground. But once he went up and he did the trick, he did pull the number 7, and it was of diamonds, and that was what the different people in the audience had said. And so it was really cool to see that he was able to choose the exact card that was recommended by the audience. So it was a cool show. It was not the best show I've ever seen, or even the best magic show I've ever seen. We did see a magic show when we were on the Grandeur of the Seas last year that I personally thought was even a little bit better than this one. There were a couple times that we felt like we could kind of see what he was doing or kind of figure out how he was doing the trick, and so that was a little funny, but overall it was a decent show, and it was just kind of something nice to do yesterday while we were aboard the ship. So as we finished up in the theater and we were just kind of winding down for the evening, we stepped out of the theater, and as we were looking out the window, my dad said that the sun was setting outside, and so my husband and I decided to step out and just kind of take a look at that, and it was so pretty just getting to see the sun just kind of reflecting on the water, and it was just such a beautiful just kind of backdrop with the mountains and everything just surrounding it, and so we really enjoyed getting to see that and getting to see that beautiful sunset. And it was kind of crazy that the sun was setting, and it was, I think, after 9:00 p.m. It was very late, but the sun was just still setting, and it was still kind of light outside, but it was beautiful out there. And so we took a couple of selfies, and then we realized the family next to us was kind of struggling to take their picture, so my husband offered to take theirs for them, and then they did the same back for us. They took a few pictures and for us, and then we realized after we had done all that a little ways down the deck they had a couple of photo paths down there, and so we made our way down there, and we were able to take a couple more pictures with them, and so it was just really cool. There was not a whole lot of people out there, and so we had a few minutes with the photo pass, and they were able to take several different kind of poses with us, and it was just so beautiful with the sunset behind us. It was just such a kind of magical moment, so we were really grateful. Well, we were kind of dressed up in our beautiful Frozen wear, and we just kind of had like a really, we were just kind of dressed up, that we were able to go take some really pretty sunset photos, and so we were very excited for that opportunity and to get those, and so we really enjoyed just kind of spending a few minutes out there getting to take some more pictures. My husband and I, if you can't tell, love to take pictures, and that's just one of our favorite things, and so the photo pass is so much fun for us, just getting to kind of go up and get some professional photos as we're going through our trip, and so that's definitely always kind of a highlight for us. I know it was a highlight on our Royal Caribbean cruise last year as well, and just getting to have all the different backdrops, all the different poses. It's just a lot of fun, and definitely better than just having a whole bunch of selfies. And so we were out there for a little while taking some pictures, and then we were wanting to do a trivia that was coming up at 9:45, and so that was, like I said, just a little after 9 that we went out to do that, so we had a little time, just a little time to kill before the trivia, and so we were able to spend the time doing that. And then we went over to the D Lounge again, which is where they were going to have the trivia, and we still were a little bit early, and so when we got in there, they were actually doing a drawing class for Hey Hey from Moana, so we just kind of sat in on that and just kind of watched the last like 5 or 10 minutes of that as they were finishing up the drawing. So that was cute and fun to watch, and I really didn't think about them having how to draw classes on the ship, but that's been really cool and a lot of fun. I know that we went and did one for Pluto the other day, and then my parents went and did Olaf from Frozen yesterday, earlier in the day, while my husband and I were dancing in the French Quarter Lounge. But it was just, those are just a lot of fun, and I always enjoy when they have little drawing classes. So I'm glad that they have quite a few options on the ship, and they have some interesting characters. We did see they had a class for drawing Nick Wilde from Zootopia. They had Captain Hook, so they definitely have some really cool, really interesting characters that they're teaching you how to draw also. So we really just enjoyed having that opportunity, and are going to definitely keep an eye out and see if there's any other classes throughout the week that we're interested in and have the time to participate in. And then after that class ended, they did have the trivia. It was a general Disney knowledge trivia, but it was level 2. We had already done the level 1 a little bit earlier in the week, and that one was fun. It was even for level 1 was a little bit challenging, and so going into level 2 we sort of were expecting it would be pretty challenging, and most of the questions were a little on the harder side. There were some things that we did not know. They did ask a few different questions about Mary Poppins, which is not a movie that I'm terribly familiar with, and so we missed those questions, but most of the questions were not too difficult as long as you had seen the movie or the shows, but there was definitely a little bit of trickiness to it, and so we enjoyed participating in that, and we were really shocked. We, I think, had 16 out of 20 by the time that we got to the end, so not too bad, but the people that won, I think there were 3 different groups that actually had 20 out of 20, and so then they had to do a tiebreaker question. And so that was kind of funny just to see how many people actually were able to get that. And so we just enjoyed doing the trivia. Doing the Disney trivias has been really fun for us. And even though we're not necessarily there competing to win, it's still fun just to get to participate and get to be a part of that. And so we enjoyed just kind of wrapping up with the trivia last night. And then after the trivia, we came back to our room and we were getting ready to take showers, wind down, get ready for bed. And when we came in, we did see that we had another towel animal in our room, and that's been such a fun part of Disney cruising that I really love, is getting towel animals when you come back. And the housekeeping team just does such a good job. They just make everything so magical, and they just really make everything so kind of easy in your room. They come twice a day, which is so crazy to me. They come twice a day into your room. And the first time, I think they do a really good clean of the room, and then the second time they come a little bit closer to bedtime and they kind of do a little bit more of a turn down service. That's when they do the towel animals, and so they just make that just kind of a magical part of the experience. Also, they work so hard and they do such a good job, and so we're just very grateful to them for all of that. But our towel animal last night that we had was a little elephant. He was really cute. And of course, like I said, we were, there's a lot of food on a cruise ship and you're kind of just stuffed all the time. But every time when we come back in, they always leave a couple of chocolates. So we've got some little piles of just little chocolates in our room. I'm like, oh, can they please stop leaving those? Because we just haven't had a chance or a desire to eat those yet. But maybe that's something we could take home with us after the trip. But we just really enjoyed just the day yesterday. Like I said, going out and seeing the glaciers was so magical. It was just so cool to actually start to move into Alaska and really actually get to be kind of at our destination where we're going. And it is so breathtaking. And so we are really excited just to get to continue to see more of the nature and a little bit more also of the cities, and get to kind of see a little bit more of just what Alaska has to offer. The glacier yesterday and the fjord yesterday were just so amazing, and so we're looking forward to our excursion today. We are, I believe, already in port in Skagway, and we are going to be doing a city streetcar tour, and then also a train tour. And so we are really excited just to get to go out and see just the nature through the mountains and everything on the train car. I'm really excited just to kind of see the breathtaking views out there. We're anticipating it's going to be just a little bit chilly, so hopefully it's not going to be too cold while we're out, but we are definitely taking some jackets and bundling up and just really looking forward to what today has to offer. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed hearing all about our Glacier Day, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below. If you have been on an Alaskan cruise or a Disney Alaskan cruise, I would love to hear all about your Glacier Day experience. Did you just absolutely get blown away by all of the beautiful scenery? And what was your favorite experience with your characters that you saw? I would just love to hear all about Glacier Day. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you would like to see more of this Chatty Get Ready With Me cruise series all about our time on the Disney Wonder here in Alaska, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and definitely hit that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time another video for this series is posted. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.